It is a kind of a cold and really windy day today, so not the nicest to be working. I was going to go in the forest and take down a few more problem trees, but there's no way I'm cutting anything in the forest with this kind of a wind. So I am going to do some maintenance. This is the skidding winch that I picked up for the tractor. So it is a Norse Kombi 3000. Hector, quit it! Or bring it here. It's either the goats, the dog, everything is trying to tell me how to do things. Anyways, so this thing, I picked it up and its history has been unknown. The condition was unknown. It sat around the farm for a long time. I needed it because I can't keep using the Land Cruiser for logging. That's just a bad idea. It was not designed for that. It's been doing it really well, but it's just no. So anyway, so we're giving this thing a try, and it works really well. But I've noticed that the clutch is not grabbing very well. So I called the company. This thing apparently is ancient. Go figure. Why would I have something new? So there might be a problem in finding parts, but they're pretty sure they can get me the clutch disc. So today I'm going to tear it apart to find out what condition everything is in and if I need new clutches or clutch or whatever is in there. The problem is I can't really find any decent manuals on this thing, so I'm just kind of eyeballing it and figuring it as I go along. So if you do have one of these, this may be of interest. I see the train has definitely seen better days too. So we're probably just going to oil that for now, but eventually replace it. So as far as I can tell, this is the main shaft that comes through here, and everything sits on that. So once I undo this great big nut, I should be able to slide that out, and then everything pretty much just drops down, and I got to try to catch it. Yeah. So we're going to try that. Stay tuned. Obviously, I have no idea what the proper procedure is, because I have no way of figuring that out. But it looks like this housing holds the reel in place. So I'm going to try leaving that there. And then I'm going to pull the shaft out of the middle and see if I can get to the clutch somehow. Yeah, I don't know. And if that fails, then I'll have to probably just undo the cage and go from there. There's the shaft. It appears just to be a straight shaft, no tapers, no shoulders or anything on it, so that's pretty simple. There was a spacer washer that was here that fell down. And trying to get that out is going to be fun. And I'm also realizing that I probably should have disconnected the chain. Okay, so with the shaft being out, the disc dropped down a little bit, and I'm pretty sure the clutch is located inside over here, but it would be good to take this out. Problem is the chain does not appear to have any links on it that I can disconnect, which seems like a very big design flaw. And down in there are really hard to get at nuts for the bottom, for the PTO shaft that's coming through here. So I think I'm going to have to pull this cover off and probably take those out. Okay, well this is much easier to get at. Now I can actually pull this chain off, get enough slack, and pull out that other piece. Okay, there we go. I think this is the clutch disc. It kind of looks like it, although it doesn't actually look that bad. And I think it's supposed to be 2 pieces, but I'm not sure about that. The inside looks fairly decent. There's a brass bushing on the inside of that. That does not look too bad. So overall, I think most of this is pretty good. I'm going to try to clean off this surface so it's a little bit more grippy for the clutch. And I got to find out if I can get a new one of those. Okay, one more thing. I pushed the drum a little bit further back and popped this guy off. So that looks to be, I think there might be a bearing or a bushing in there. I'll clean that off. There was these 3 locating pins that ended up going in here and into the corresponding slots over there. And that's it. This is nice and simple and very not complicated, which is exactly what we need out here. So this is perfect. Time to find out if I can get a new clutch and what that's going to cost. Okay, I am getting ready to reassemble this thing. I've cleaned off the surface kind of as best as I can without actually taking it out of there. I did notice there is a chain tensioner in there, but it's missing a spring. So that is right down in there, and there's supposed to be a spring going from here to there. You can kind of better see that over here. There you go. And I can see that there is a bearing in here, and there's also another bearing in that piece, and they are the same part number. So they are a Koyo 6306 RS. This one is a 2.8 and appears to have a much deeper collar, the internal part of the bearing. The other one doesn't protrude nearly as far, so it is a slightly different bearing, even though they are the same part number, but I'm guessing the 2.9 designation is what gives it that difference. So that one does not have that. The reason why I stopped using it and took everything apart was because it was starting to squeal. So I didn't know if it was if I was rubbing metal on metal for the liner or what was going on. So, but it appears to be okay. There is, hi Hector, hi buddy, what's going on? Okay, I've got oil on and grease on my hands. I don't want to make you a dirty dog. No, you don't need to be a dirty dog. Okay. So there is the PTO shaft in there that has either a bearing or something in there. I have not taken that apart yet. It rotates nicely. It does not look like it has any grease nipples. It might just be a bushing, but there's no play. So if it works, I am not going to screw with it. Down the line, if I continue using this thing and I like it, then maybe I'll take that apart. But for now, I'll just make a note of what bearings it has. These ones are fairly decent. One of them could use replacing, but I'll see. I'll see how much use I'm getting out of it. Now that I've taken it apart once, it's easy enough to put it back together. The chain appears to be a standard number 60 chain, which is good. So I do have a bit. I've got some more over there. Okay, as a final piece for the skidding winch. So these old winches, this one is from 1978. So these old winches were designed in a very simple manner and very easy to adjust apparently, which I discovered today. So I found a distributor on the east coast of Canada that called Nova International that actually deals with selling brand new versions of these guys right now. And the cool part is they still have parts to support the old ones. Like for example, the clutch lining. Now, one of the older guys over there is very knowledgeable about this stuff, and this is where it's really nice to actually see that you still get really good customer service from businesses. He told me the procedure of actually how to tighten up the clutch, because this clutch is actually not very worn down. So it's got 60-70% life left on it. So I'm going to keep using it. So the way to do this, as he explained it, is because I was looking at this piece over here and it doesn't look straight, right? Kind of looks like it's deformed a bit. And I thought, well, maybe, I will strengthen that up in the future. And bad idea. This is actually designed to work this way. So that's your tensioner. So as you tighten this nut, okay, it's going to close up the space and tighten up the clearance on the clutch that's in there now. So the proper way of doing this apparently is turn it on, run the PTO, and start tightening up that nut till when the cable is spooled out and nice and loose, starts kind of getting picked up, and then back it off by about a quarter to half a turn. So we're going to do that. And it makes sense. So we'll find out how well and how quickly it'll adjust. So I did put brand new chain on that I had. The only problem is it was a mix and match of different heaviness. So one of them's an X part, half of it is heavy duty, half of it is regular duty. Okay, so it picked it up just a little bit, and then I backed it off between quarter to half turn. Okay, that's perfect. So before, I had to pull this cable all the way up until it actually hit the stop here for it to actually start engaging the winch. Now it's doing it at about half that. So there we go. I get to have more life out of the winch without having to buy a new clutch for it, which wouldn't have helped if I didn't know how to adjust it anyway. So there we go. If you have one of these, or if you've seen one, or if you've been thinking about getting one, they are pretty cool. And I'll be posting up some log skidding videos shortly, because I've got a couple of trees I got to take down in the forest. So stay tuned for more.